yeah.
You're in the mix with DJ 7.
Hey, what's up? Check it out. It's your boy DGL7. Now, I have actually a special guest coming in from actually all the way Tennessee, but I'm going to let her introduce herself. I'm very excited to have her here. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Salamander Brandy. That's Brandy with the Y. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I am the executive assistant to Mama Peaches, Black Lives Matter Memphis, not the national Memphis. And I am the co-chair of the Democratic Socialists of America Memphis, Mid South Memphis, even though that's nobody really likes that one. And I'm also the executive director of Path of the Holy Hands, a street ministry here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, wow, that's
Basically,
wild. That's
yeah.
that's a pretty solid grip right there of organizations right there. I've heard of all of them, and they have national significance. So that's very cool. All right, so
Hmm.
look, this is actually the online activist interview series. So I actually interview activists from all over in many different realms. And the thing is that I ask them pretty much all the same questions. So if you thought these questions were interesting, you can see the other activists and see how they answer the same question. So just to get a little bit, just to get to know you yourself, right? How do you get started in this whole activist thing? Like something, was there something cause? What was the first cause that you ever worked on, or or got you into activism?
Well, when I was in my youth, well, not in my youth, whatever, my late teens, I helped my father feed the homeless every year, during Thanksgiving and Christmas. And that's something we just did. Didn't really think anything about it. But just mostly in general, most of my life, I just try to help people. I became a bartender to give people advice at their lowest points and stuff like that, but it was not necessarily activism. It was just me trying to be good person. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I stayed in the closet as a trans woman all my life because like I thought I'd be more effective helping people. Just give them small bits of guidance here and there. So I guess I didn't really start my activism until I started doing comedy, anti-capitalist comedy, because this is back in 20 2018, and just doing activism that way. That's how I got hooked up with DSA in Memphis. We basically all went to the same Leftist bar and got drunk there, told jokes, and they liked my jokes and they asked me to join. They didn't know who the hell I really was or anything like that. This before I came out the closet, and I joined, and then I guess the real start was back in 2020 during the lockdown. No, no, I take that back. Um, I started really online with a group of friends of mine. We worked on the Bernie campaign, knocking on doors here and there. That's how a lot of people got started around these parts. And we both mostly moved our activism online and keeping people informed because, like, everybody's in a small city. Memphis is a pretty small city. It's a big town, small city. Um, and pretty much everybody's in the same online spaces. So we thought, if we, especially my friend, handicapped and they can't really get around as much, because they can't leave the house as much. So we mostly watch videos, share ideas, and try to like spread ideas of how to help the community. And it works a lot. It helped a lot of people you know, connect people with resources and stuff like that, and try to get prepared for whatever the was going to happen. And like this is like, I guess during the Bernie campaign, that's when the virus people start talking about the virus. It was like just on the horizon. But that's when I really got started. Just going really hard on that online activism, talking to people, trying to destroy any rhetoric that's leaning towards fascism. And we're in lockdown; we can't do anything else. But online, even though people don't take it seriously, um, people will try to drive you to kill yourself, and it was a few of us that it was a few friends that who have died, because like I said, it's like mental torture to one
Yeah.
another, like some type of weird battle arena. And when the George Floyd when the George Floyd protests broke out, That's when my activism became physical. I immediately decided, this society is not working. Me going to my job is not doing it. So I went on strike. I quit my job out of fear, frustration, and strike, and just I haven't worked a normal job in past since then. And like I we pretty much uh, try to help each other out to like avoid kettling with the police. And I have a loud voice for a lady. I have a loud voice, and like we pretty much directed people to like stay away from kettling traps from the police, and basically try to create small blockades to uh, um, prevent them from cornering large sections of the people on cornering them because like uh, you know you know
Yeah.
causing a little havoc here and there, not too much. Just like I said, made them stop to give people more room to get to the bridge. Because during those protests, they shot tear gas at people to prevent us to stop commerce. They shot tear gas at pregnant women. Somebody got shot. A pregnant woman died. People with beatings and all this shit. And we tried to our best to like fight against that. And it got to the point where the DSA in Memphis, we took over City Hall, and we pretty much set up camp there, and we occupied it for a good 15 days. That's a kidding.
This is
We
this is amazing. I'm even like I don't even want to interrupt it because it's just such an amazing build up. I just want to
Mhm.
fish a little bit more towards like how you started and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I will get to all this stuff. Wow, it's so amazing. I'm so I didn't know all this about you, and I'm so happy to have you on. This is just
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We stayed there for 15 days.
So
We fed over 300 people, 300 people a day, men, women, children. It got to the point where they had to like make a stop, and like they pretty much arrested everybody. I chained myself up to City Hall because like I just had enough. Like I
okay,
had enough of not everybody talking the talk, but not doing, walking the walk.
yeah.
So and like people died, like literally people died in front of our City Hall. 40% of our budget goes to the police in the city of Memphis. That's 40, like literally 40% of the budget. Police budget goes to them. The city budget goes to them, and we have cameras like these sky cop cams all over throughout the city. And what really broke my heart, what drove me to chain myself up to the city hall, is that figuring out this woman froze to death as city workers and walked past her. She died right under the fucking camera, the $6,000 camera. Back then, with $6,000, you can definitely buy someone a house here in Memphis. Not now, but because yeah, fall of the empire. So prime rent. Memphis became prime real estate. So just mass gentrification here in Memphis, no legal protections. So, but back then, before the collapse, I guess this is the collapse. That's why I believe. You could literally save that woman's life by giving her shelter. But there's so many fucking nonprofit. It's just the whole thing. It's a fucking. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to curse.
No,
But
no,
it's a
it's okay.
whole.
I do it all the time.
Okay, that's good. It's a whole a parasitic relationship that we have here in the city of Memphis, where, like I said, we have thousands of nonprofits in the city of Memphis, and it's to help end homelessness.
So let me
But
see if
yeah,
I get this right. So the thing is that when you first started, you were doing like kind of like aid, right? Yeah, you started as a
yeah,
kid, like helping
mutual
out
aid.
people,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
That were, during the holiday season. And the thing is
yeah,
that that's kind of like activism in itself, right? So you got to see
yeah.
people that were hungry, people that were, right,
Hmm.
ready to come through and say, I'm someone who needs help. So that's
Yeah,
pretty,
we started mutual aid programs to start trading with
yeah.
people to like get people the food they need and try to work with other
So I
organizations
just want, okay,
like
I also want to understand, right? So the thing is that later on, right, you work with the Bernie campaign, that's cool. So you saw that there was an issue, but it sounds like you really kind of turned it up your activism really. I mean, you're already like knee deep at that time, it seems like, right? So
Mhm.
um when you started, right, like what was really was it like seeing the people in need that really turned you on to it? What would you say really kind of like the fuel for your activism, right? Seeing those people in need, or the injustice of the which maybe there's one, maybe it's shared, right? But what's really at the core, or how'd you start? Because I started with like environmental stuff, right? So
Hmm.
kind of, right? And I was awakened separately to like imperialism because of my Korean American background, and that's kind
Hmm.
of like the two, I would say, legs of my activism, right? But what about your? So what is the legs of yours?
Honestly, it's gonna sound crazy as hell. I never was a religious person at all, but like, you know, I had a vision. Like literally, it's the end of the world, and if we don't save the environment, like let's be real. Like I literally had a vision. Of course, I had the help to get that vision. I'm not gonna. I don't know. Can you talk about mushrooms here? No, I was just joking. Um, but no, but serious though, like the things that we eat, it uses sunlight or whatever. It comes from the earth. That's the earth talking to you. That's your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? It was little help, but I had went on that little spiritual journey, and prior to my getting actually involved, back in 2018, I just broke up with my girlfriend, and then I just had a awakening to that fact, and also to the fact that you know it was helping with the help of my ex. I'm probably the only person who will ever say their ex was right, whatever. But it was the help of my ex that I realized that a lot of things, the environment and a lot of this molestation of children and women that's going on, they're all interconnected. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
like I did not know this. I didn't know how prevalent it was. I knew having some members of my family, but I didn't know it was happening to my mother too. So once I realized that, that's why I knew that these cycles, and with the help of my spiritual awakening, or whatever you want to call it, I saw that everybody was living these same cycles, and the trauma and the abuse helped maintain these cycles. And the patriarchy, living under a patriarchy, capitalist, and white supremacy society were the main three pillars of this empire and of all this problem that we're facing. You know, um, it's like really wild as hell. So basically, yeah, it's the environment and to help end sexual abuse. Like that's my main goals. Like help protect the environment is what whatever the spirit tell me, but to help destroy the patriarchy, that's my. I'm not gonna say personal revenge, whatever, but that's my one of my personal goals because you hurt my mother, you hurt people I love. It has to end. Like that's the main. That's the main. I could be bullheaded, and stubborn on these facts, but yeah,
It's good to know.
living a
All right.
meltdown society. Yeah,
Appreciate that.
living
Yeah.
in a meltdown.
That
Yeah,
took
you
me
got to
into
go.
my own little shell right there. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Out of all the activism that you've done, what are you most proud of achieving?
Man, one I'm most proud of achieving.
Hmm.
It's a lot. I feel like a lot. Mostly whenever I get somebody off the street, they might get back on the street, but like each time I give them some relief, that is the biggest relief that I can find. When I can like find a predator and dismantle his ass, and like get him off the fucking streets or whatever, or try to help somebody break away from that. That the small things, the teeny tiny things that make the biggest ripples and shit. And but I guess a big ripple is to get the racist ass, evil ass, self hating DA Amy Wyrick out of office in Memphis. She was literally the worst DA in the whole country, according to Harvard Law. So unfortunately, she moved to another city down the street, but she don't have jurisdiction in the city of Memphis no more. That was big and helpful. Just basically spreading the word about that. Um, Honestly, I would say, yeah, I would say that was a big accomplishment. It's just honestly, it's a lot. It's honestly been a lot for the past 2 years. Um, you know, um, you know, I guess you know what? I take that back. I take all of that back. The biggest success that I felt my activism career is when with my ministry. You know, I go where spirit tells me to go, and when I end up there, I just do what I do. And if I'm somebody else's karma, I'm somebody else's karma. And the biggest thing with that is when a young lady, she was well, not young lady, a non-binary, young non-binary person, they came out the closet, and it just so happened I was there. I was in their family home, and they was like hounding this young person telling them they're going to hell, they're gonna put them in jail, and all this stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, they're not. You can't do that. No, everybody's confused. No, you can't do that. And plus, told them, hey, it's okay to be gay. It's okay to be gay. It's okay to be not straight heteronormative. And the person that was sitting next to him, their relative, their older cousin, said like, no, yes, it's okay, it's gay, yeah, because like shit, they can't really say it's not. They can't say that no more. They literally cannot say that. So that's probably one of my most proudest moments. Telling that child to go read and study and strengthen themselves. That's me.
All right. So one of the things that earlier you said that you were a member of DSA, and that stands for socialists, right?
Yes,
Some
yes, I'm the
people
co-chair.
they assign to a certain philosophy, right? They might be
Mhm.
socialism. Some people say communism. Some people say anarchy. You know, what I mean, things like that. So, if you had a philosophy, right, or maybe yours is beyond philosophy, but which do you have a certain political philosophy or something?
If I had to describe my political philosophy, I would say it would be anarcho witch. Like
Okay.
I'm mostly an anarchist. Like that don't really mean disorder or lack of order or no orders, but it's like literally it's all about for me. Like I said, for me, my personal stance in anarchy is consent. Like I didn't consent to this fucking order that we live under, this fascist damn state that we live under. I didn't consent to any of this. Nobody asked to fucking be here, and I feel like with that, coming from that point of view, everything else, you know, everything else are stepping stones to achieving that society where everyone can consent. It's gonna be rough and all these things like that, And I work. But it gives me room to like work with, what you call them, the hard tankies or whatever, or the communists and shit like that. That's really fucking crazy. I work better with communists and libertarians and shit like that than I do with other anarchists, which is kind of fucking weird. Like it's silly. After a while, it gets silly. You know what I'm saying? And like after a while, I feel like, are we helping get people off the street? If you do that, I can work with you. For a long time, I worked with a libertarian. He hell, I hate. I don't not hate. I don't really like Masons at all. He's also a Freemason as well. He's a libertarian Freemason and all this shit like that. But we did good, and we were able to help women. We were able to stop people being raped. This man lived in the streets where he was helping people at, and basically he was about to go fucking crazy because there was like, he's a white boy. He's in the hood, North Memphis. He's like, they know where he slept at night. He's like they, because everybody slept on the porch. Like everybody slept on the porch. It was during COVID, and people like tell him at 3 o'clock in the morning, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you." And he could have literally gone back to the suburbs, but he didn't. He's sick of the shit too. He also like mushrooms too. So I guess I think that's the real connective. The most people that we've been connecting with are the psychonauts and all that shit.
Hmm.
And that's family.
Yeah.
If we ever to actually get past the ego and actually help somebody else, that's what we do.
Feel you on that. Yeah. Okay.
Like,
Now, my next
and
question is, I'm
it's
sorry,
like
you can keep going.
yeah, Memphis most important is a hippie city. Sorry,
Okay. So my next question is,
my bad.
the thing is that some people, when they have their activism, it's like influenced by maybe a former person, sometimes like influential, like maybe Malcolm X for me, and Martin Luther King, or and that would make sense, right? I'm an American activist, that's who I know, right? Do I know the Chinese activists not so well, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm Korean American, but I mean, we just don't. But there's some famous ones as well. Are there certain people that have influenced your own activism? Or maybe you see yourself as a
Uh,
continuation of a tradition.
yes, and this tradition is a lot older than what we think it is. It's a continuation of tradition, and I believe the people who stand next to me, my comrades, they inspire me. That's those who the people are here with me today inspire me because, like I said, I can touch them on the shoulder, and we can talk, we can work together. And I feel like the people of the past, they left us clues. They made the way so we can do it, and it's just us trying to take a torch. When you live by somebody's image, you're trying to be like them and all this stuff like that. But after a while, you eventually going to have to like improve yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
come to terms with yourself, because you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're
It
definitely right
sounds
about that.
crazy,
Yeah,
but
you have to have your own authority in this, so that otherwise you can't
yes,
really make things happen. So that's true. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's a great
yeah.
answer.
Like that's a problem we have in the city of Memphis. Everybody wants to be Dr. King. Everybody wants to be that man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and the people who really trying, like, they don't really believe in his message. They literally trying to profit off of him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's who I really can't fucking stand. I
So
cannot
yeah.
stand the fucking doing this or capitalists. I cannot understand it. I don't want to understand it. It is
So
very furious, like a flip a table.
wow, I have so much things I want to talk to you about. Yeah, but we'll save that for actually the next episode where we talk about issues in public housing and like how we're going to make advancements. This is really really set. The questions are set in advance, so it just helps
Hmm.
us to really get to know activism and stuff like that, right? So
Hmm.
okay, so the thing is that what are some of the most effective things that you think that activists can do?
The most effective thing.
Hmm.
Well, the major goal that I want is to see a general strike. But the most effective thing is to knock off some of these this rhetoric, that anything that's counter revolutionary. Like it might be subtle, but like if you can to identify those things and identify certain types of rhetoric and dismantle it and be as efficiently as quickly as possible to make that person, that form of talking, speak, talk, whatever, illegitimate. Like that's basically what you do, because like people want a change. People want a people's revolution, but they have like spell. Let me say it like this: rhetoric is basically another form of spell casting, to bind people to somebody else's will. And even the person who's saying it might not be their will, that what they're saying, because a lot of us have different dialects, and a lot of us from different eras and different parts of the country. Here in Memphis, we have North Memphis and South Memphis. Sometimes people from North Memphis are not going to understand what you're saying. If you're from the South, if you're from North Memphis, a lot of people are not going to understand what the hell you're saying. I guess like people in the religious spaces want to call it Babylon, Tower of Babylon, where nobody can understand each other. But if you're able to identify any form of rhetoric or anything like that that casts doubt on the people's movement, yeah, that's probably the one thing we need to pick up on, because like it might not even somebody that might be our opposition. It might even be ourselves. It could be some things we be telling ourselves that's in the way. It's a wall, you know what I mean? And like a
Hmm.
lot of things we just pick up, we just channeling them. So yeah, that's
Okay.
that's how I fight back. And
Okay.
like, yeah.
Appreciate that. Now, my next question, okay? So, it's one thing that's really cool about you is you've had experience with several different organizations, right? Yeah. Now, the
Mhm.
thing is that a lot of
Yes.
people, when they first start activism, sometimes they join an organization, sometimes they're not happy with the way things are going at the organization, sometimes there's infighting, stuff like that, right? What are some of the best
Hmm.
practices that you see at organizations, right? And right, if you see a young person and or someone who's just starting activism and they're questioning about their role in the organization, right? What would you tell them?
Well, shit. I'll be real with you. I think people confuse organizations as a solution to their problems. Reality is just simply working together with your friends and families, neighbors. Like the organization is only a tool to fight the system, even within the system. Everybody says you can't fight within the system, yada yada yada. But shit, it's just a handy tool. That's literally it. Uh,
Appreciate that.
I in the DSA, we had a fraction where people were splitting off, and it was like slick racist. What they did, they told all the white people what they were gonna do, and like shut out all our our access to our other orgs, our other branches, social media. But you know, it just so
Okay.
happened one of them had a conscience, and they told me was able to like shut it down. But the thing is, don't confuse an organization for the people. If you don't like the organization, whatever, it's always good to just start your own. Like shit, like I said, I started a
I
church.
agree
It's
with that.
very freaking easy. It's very freaking easy. It's really easy to start a church, by the way. You know, and, like I said, in my church, I tried to like make it so where I can control who comes in. So like anybody who might have some ill intentions, they would have to go through a long process where we get to actually know you. You know what I'm saying? Like with my religion is basically is if you want to become a deciding member, like where you decide decisions, you would have to let somebody, one of the other members, like literally stay with you and do work and do activism. Let it like so we can get to know you, your personality. What are you saying? What is your rhetoric? What is your actual reason? But on the other hand, if you really believe that no one should be made homeless without consent, then hell, you already a member. You don't really need to make like board decisions because like you can easily just say, hey, this need this man. But hell, if you believe this, shit, we'll take you on our umbrella and shit, try to maybe get rid of some of these taxes off your ass. Cause like shit, why not? Like why if these major corporations, I mean churches, same damn thing, damn near can like get away from no taxes and drive Bentleys and all this shit, and like yeah, and like exclude a bunch of people. Like why not make it so where you can keep your same practices, the same this and that and that, as long as you believe that nobody should remain homeless and we can work towards that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like shit
Absolutely.
like that. Like, do we have the same goal? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, don't if
Okay.
don't give an organization too much power. That's basically what I'm trying to say,
I,
or
that
the
makes a
idea
lot
of
of sense to me.
organization too
Yeah,
much
I
power.
basically follow the same model myself, just people who know me, right? So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So I do totally get it, and I hope that the rest of y'all, I think a lot of mature activists do come to that same
Yeah.
same point of view. Yeah. There's always some
Hmm.
leaders trying to do their thing and trying to tell you different, but yeah, just pay attention to the people. Yeah,
We
that's
call it edging God out. Ego. When you try to edge
interesting.
God out, basically that's your ego and shit like that. In my own personal philosophy, everyone's God. You're God. I'm God. This orange God.
Mhm.
The kitty cat outside trying to scratch his way in through my window. God. All that. We're all children of the light. You know what I mean?
Makes
Something like
sense.
that.
That's cool with me. Any time frame, but I'm gonna start from. There was a time before you really awakened as an activist, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a
Yes.
time where you like worked with these organizations that you've done more recent stuff that's like a little bit, more maybe opened your eyes to stuff, right? So you
Hmm.
could take either from when you weren't an activist, right, we weren't really awakened to stuff, right, yeah, to all the way till now, right, and tell me what's if you've had any specific perspective changes or most significant perspective changes, but that might be too much ground to cover, right? So you might even say, right, well, ever since joining DSA, right, yeah, or ever since doing that event at City Hall where I chained myself to the thing, right, yeah, I had this perspective change from these particular set of incidents that were more recent, or you could choose whatever you felt is most significant, right? But
Right.
right, for people that are out there that are beginning their activist career, or maybe even people that have gone through a significant activist career, they can just compare, and or maybe look forward to or understand how their perspective
Mm.
might change.
Mm. Uh, honestly, for perspective change, like I said, everything I said in the beginning, that's what I learned so far, is the rhetoric. People might be claiming to be communist, hardcore communists, but they might still be stuck on a white supremacist model and or something else. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
I feel that we what we need to do and shit like that. Each and every one of us is to be able to question ourselves and where
So
we're at in our life.
quick question, right? Yes. So, like, was there a specific incident where you saw like rhetoric used in a particularly good way, or you saw
Yes.
rhetoric like used like to hurt something, right? So maybe this can maybe help my viewers really understand how this perspective change comes about, and from your perspective. Go ahead.
Oh yes. In Memphis, the Mid South Memphis DSA, we have a thing where we use the diamond emoji when we're trying when we snip somebody out to be a grifter. Because this guy, We use a red diamond, grifter, because this guy, he's when before the lockdown, no, during the lockdown, during the Occupy, he called himself Diamond Joe. He's so one of those coke dealers, hop place, being like act like he's a hardcore tanky, all that shit, hardcore communist, carry a fucking hammer around and all this shit. But like, for example, when I was tying myself up, white guy, all this stuff like that, in part DSA IWW. His name is Joey Scott, by the way. Named Joey Scott.
I'll look him up.
You trust me, vote him like the plague. He's a can I say fuck boy? He's a real fuck boy. He's a real fuck boy and
Uh-huh.
caused a lot of infighting between us, and really broke up some of our mutual aid. Shit, we had a fridge project, and he would go tell the liberal crowd what we're doing, so they can like copy us, then call code enforcement to shut us down. Shit like that. And like he was just whenever he gets in trouble, he hops around and he goes to Montana. We pretty much share this with other DSA members who are not on the bullshit, because DSA gonna be a bullshit organization. They're gonna believe white guys a lot. But people in the know, we pretty much made the code for Diamond. He's a fucking diamond, like red diamond, like grifter. Yeah, but yeah, he spit all this stuff, and like all this hardcore comrade, communist Lenin, a goods theory, and all this shit. People spitting theory, but the actions don't meet. What they're saying.
Okay.
He was still stuck on the bullshit, still stuck on his fuckboy shit, and yeah, we pretty much got him out of town. We pretty much not,
So
pretty
rhetoric.
much
So
made
you would
so
say
he's not
rhetoric
able to stay in town.
includes the action as well as the words, because rhetoric is the art of convincing others, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is rhetoric? Yeah. So, but you're saying his actions didn't match his words.
Mm-mm.
So
Like I
yeah.
said, in church they say faith without work is dead.
So
Yeah,
he lost his
basically,
credibility.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, lost his credibility. He wouldn't actually do the work. Like I said, he was just
I understand.
fucking grifter, a drifting grifter,
Hey, that's
diamond.
unfortunate. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, damn
So,
diamond.
all right. So, just looking at the, you know, just the
Biden's a
world
diamond.
today, right? Yeah.
I'm
What would you?
sorry.
No, it's okay. What's your current take on the current situation?
On the world today,
Yeah.
well, shit, there's a lot of shit out there that's driving people
Well, I'll
people
tell you a little
nuts.
setup here. Yeah. So the thing is that my next question will be, right, what are your plans for the future, right? So the thing is that, right, so the way that you look at the world today will probably influence, right, your actions
Yeah.
for tomorrow, right? So you have this, you're doing this activism stuff. Maybe you see a need for public housing, but or it could be something for other things too, right? It might be a more spiritual thing. I know you have your ministry. It might be a more soul, right? But just or you
Mhm.
could say like maybe the world right now is in a commercialist space where they're not really spiritual or asking themselves the meaning of life or anything, right? Yeah, just yeah, go ahead.
it's 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 two hands. One, there's a lot of shit out there. People stuck on fucking media and it's giving them fucking bad information, whatever. The social media and the news, because like we just had an active shooter the other day, and now today, well, yesterday, the news gonna try to say there's two more shooters, and now that shit wasn't real either. Just basically, well, one, they trying to put Memphis under martial law for one. I just need to let y'all know that for real, for real. They trying to put us under martial law, and basically so we can all be under curfew and like just basically be more and more vulnerable to work for the Ford City factory that they're building a town over in Mason, Tennessee. It's basically like a slave city. So that's something that's really going on. What's going on here? But what I see in the world is that, like I said, we gotta be able to recognize these things and like be able to like make it so people are not as vulnerable. We have to attack people signing all this policy on religious base. Like I said, we're damn near the belt buckle of the belt, Bible belt and shit like that. Making all these policies using religion instead of actually policies where we get people off the fucking streets. Like actually, maybe not give the police 40% of the tax revenue in the city. You know what I'm saying? And we probably wouldn't have that shooting the day of the village actually grabbed the boy and made him feel warm, so he wouldn't have to actually feel the need to burn the village down. You know what I mean? If we had gave him some counseling or not put him in juvie where he got molested, and make it maybe create an environment where it's okay to be gay, and so people can be able to talk about when something has inappropriately happened to them. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Be able to like we need to create an environment where crime goes down on its own. Crime back in the '90s was at its lowest point. That was basically due to policies that was set back in the um, Great Depression. FDR made America one of the greatest economies of the world in the world. We're using these social justice programs. And like we need to, that's what's going on. The water's being poisoned as we speak. And I don't know, you heard about Mississippi, but the capital of Mississippi, Jackson, don't have clean drinking water. Like, no, they hadn't had clean drinking water in 2 weeks. And as soon as winter comes, it's going to be the same for Memphis as well, because like I said, we're a predominantly black city. They ignore all these fucking, they ignore our grid. It's like purposely, and they manufacture chaos, such as these shootings, such as these things, so they make us more dependent on their version of quote unquote social order. You know what I'm saying? So my honestly, my plans for the future, I'm surprised I made it to 30. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was gonna die, and and before I came out the closet, I thought I was gonna take myself out. But yeah, I'm happy that I didn't, and I'm happy no white supremacists took me out and shit like that. Which brings us to a crazy story. It was one of the time during a Breonna Taylor trial, they pretty much let the officer off for whatever reason. I can't remember what it was, but we went to Louisiana. Not Louisiana. Uh, wasn't Louisiana? Oh my goodness,
New
Kentucky.
Orleans, oh, Kentucky, my bad.
Louisville, Kentucky. We went
Oh,
to
okay.
Louisville, Kentucky. Somebody just pulled a gun out on us in Memphis at a protest because, like I said, homophobia. Pulled a gun out on us, and we took a ride to Louisville, Kentucky, where basically the city was about to go to hell. Like they had tanks, they had people, white supremacists, shit like that, and we were held up in the church and shit like that. And like the fucking Proud Boys riding on fucking pickup trucks with sirens on, working with the police, surround the church, surround everybody inside the church and shit like that. And the only thing I had was a fucking boat oar. Like everybody got big ass pistols, guns, all the shit. I just had a boat oar. That was just, I'm sorry, that just stuck out of my head. But I thought I was gonna buy it that day. My friends, my comrades, they were a little naive. We was a little naive that night. One of us had like fucking yard stakes, like fucking Buffy the Vampire, and she was like ready. Like Becky was ready. Like, yeah, let's march the fucking city. I'm like, oh my god, like my people. You can say what you want about white, black, but white folks when they like in it, they like in it, man. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, wait. Everybody got guns. We can't. You got steak, and I got a boat oar. Like in A Ron, he got a fucking inhaler. Like, no, he's about to have a bird break now. Like, no, let's not march against the police. Let's not march against the National Guard. Okay, guys, we'll get them next time. I'm
Wow.
sorry, but I literally thought I was gonna bite it then, because like I said, these fucking Proud Boys literally fucking was gonna help the police burn us down. Like literally, like it was really wild as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So look, you're super interesting. I'm sure my viewers are definitely going to be wanting to follow your work. So how can
Mhm.
people follow you? You have like social media, you have things like that, right?
Uh, well, my church, we have a page, and that's how people can get in contact with me. But like I said, I I work a lot with the disabled community because I myself have really bad ADD. So and so does the head to Black Lives Matter, Memphis, and like we try to hold each other up. So like, and so much going on, we constantly spinning our wheels. That's why I mean miss so many damn meetings. Miss so many damn meetings. We've constantly spinning our wheels and we're trying to come to a stop. After during the season, it seems like we've come to a slowing down. So we're pretty much going to put together a website. But for in the meantime, I just have my page for my church, Path of the Holy Hands, Memphis. Um, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm probably sending out poetry poetry or anti-capitalist sentiments or anti-fascist sentiments, or try to spread information. So you can look me up on Twitter at I hate underscore money. I hate money. basically. That's my main anarcho which stance. Money is a fucking evil spell. It's literally telling you it's God. It's not. It's not real. Ooh. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. I have an Instagram, sister son Iman. Well, yeah, sister son was sister underscore son sun underscore Amon
Okay,
Amon.
cool. So now people have your information. Now, what's coming up? What do they have to look forward to?
Well, that's kind of hard to say. Trying to think. It's so much fucking shit going
We're
on.
about to talk about some of
Uh,
that in the next episode. It's going to be hot. I have big plans, and we've been doing a lot of stuff actually. I know the
yeah,
list must be long. Yeah, we're working with so many organizations, right? What are you most excited
yeah,
about, though? Well, and
yeah,
what's coming for
yeah.
the next?
We
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but yeah, we just came out a huge election season and stuff like that. And honestly, we're tired because like man, the DA was a fucking villain. Like she probably would have had us all fucking taken out because she one of the activists that we worked with, Black Lives Matter Memphis, she kidnapped her. Like she was the one who tried to give Pamela Moses 42 years for attempting to register to vote. So we're glad to get over that hurdle. Now the road is open for us. I recently ran for office. I only got 20. I got 22% of the vote, a
That's pretty
thousand
good.
voters.
That's not bad.
Yeah, the pretty first time. But the guy I ran against, everybody hated him. So like, shit, just run for office, try it, see what happens. But after that, right now, I'm just slowly trying to build a movement for the public housing and for our what's going on in Memphis. We're they trying to talk us into a 20-year contract with TVA, which they haven't given us good service in the past 20 years. A lot of people are without power. People are freezing to death in their own homes in winter. People are just few. A lot of people died recently due to heat stroke in their own homes because lack of air conditioning and stuff like that. So our main push is to work with 21st century Memphis here, and to like trying to help upgrade our power system. Not just simply switch to solar, but try use other technologies that are available to be independent for each household to be each neighborhood to be independent. Because no, we gotta be real. We had the technology for almost 100 years now for to make the current electrical grid completely obsolete, where we don't need a utility bill no more. So that's something we're struggling for right now, and that's what we want done now. Because like they doing all this innovation, and black and brown communities constantly have to take the fucking brunt of it. Like we constantly have to take the brunt of it with our wallets. So
Yeah.
it's time to fight for independence of utility bills and utility companies. I don't know what's like over there in New York.
I'm
Um,
excited, so excited to talk about this. I hope you guys watch the next episode. There's going to be another program where we're going to be talking about all the plans for all this stuff coming up. I'm so hyped. Yeah?
Yee! Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
All right, cool. So you guys going to have to catch that on the next video, right? Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this, the online actives interview with Amon Prod right here. Yeah. Salamander
hmm
Brandy. Yeah. Salamander. There you go.
Salamander.
Was that name
Huh?
that you gave him yourself?
What's
Salamander?
that? Salamander?
Yeah.
Um, you know, you know, I first thing first, I'm a otaku, and I got that from a manga book. I don't know if you ever read Berserk, but
I
that
haven't read it. I've
inspired
seen the
me.
movie, though. I've seen the show.
Huh?
I haven't read it, but I've
Uh,
seen the show.
you gotta read the manga, but
Okay.
that inspired me because like I knew everything, like people here we have weird dialects, and mine's kind of like more clear to everybody else, like a unifying thing. So I just know that when I'm hot and heavy in anger, and I'm angry, and I'm actually justified in my anger, everything I'm gonna say is gonna be fire. Like everything I say is gonna be fire. I just know that. So I chose Salamander. But Amon, that's my true name. That's the name my mother gave me, and
Okay.
Brandy. That's what I thought my name was. Is my original. My dead name is Brandon, but like
Okay.
I thought everybody called me Brandy. So like that's who I was.
Right.
I'm she, her, we. So
I
like
get that. What about the
everybody got a fucked up accent.
was
in
Salamander a character from the Berserk series?
Memphis. Not a character. Um, one of the characters is one point where Guts would find. Well, it's the point where Guts was able to get his armor, the Berserk armor, and one of the side characters, was able to get a knife that catches on fire. It had the spirits of salamanders
Oh,
because
okay, interesting.
it was a flame dagger.
That wasn't in the show, was it? That was only in the manga.
Uh, I don't think they made it to that point in the show yet, but yeah, in the manga, yeah, where he was able to get his armor.
Wait. The manga goes further than the show? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that's where the whole
Oh
thing ends.
no.
There's more?
I don't know
Okay.
where the show. I haven't watched the show because like the
At the
CG
end,
is horrible.
I forgot the guy who's who turns into like the demon. He sacrifices
Yeah,
his whole army, and then
yeah,
he
Griffith.
tries to head for the dream of his castle in the sky,
Yeah,
and that's how it
he
ends.
was able to get it. And then he tried to recruit his old in the manga. He tried to recruit his old band of hogs people that
Yeah.
survived.
Does
But
more stuff
you
happen
know,
after that, or is that because it seemed like a good ending?
oh no, no. It's a lot going on with that. Basically, we're at the point where the manga's at in our reality right now, where the fantasy world and the real world started to mingle more.
All right, so I'm
Um,
gonna end this interview though, because I just want to keep it like to that particular topic, and we're gonna start the next one in a moment. All right, so let me just end that one.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond
platforms.
doubt.
That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Dailymotion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.